So, hello everyone, good morning all. So basically today, as Shrikant already had introduced you with the different Oracle products, now we are going to introduce with you with the solutions that were built on these particular products, the combination of all of these products, and how the particular solution will look like inside the banking and the financial data sets, and how we can level it up for you guys. So as the presentation says, level up with the banking analytics. Let's go ahead with the presentation one. So, okay. So first thing would be the introduction. So I am Bumin Kamdar, working as a senior solution architect in Evosys. So as far as the Evosys is concerned, Evosys work on the different sets of analytics, analytics, advanced analytics, and you also create the solution across multiple verticals where you talk about starting from the retail analytics to the huge manufacturing industries and the banking financial sectors to the insurance and the risk sectors also. So I am one of the solution architect in the Evosys who actually built more of the solutions regarding the banking and financial sectors. So as an introduction to the Evosys, Evosys has, as you can see right now, more than 30 countries we have presence globally, more than 1,200 customers that we have on cloud. We have 7 cloud pillars, 16 different specializations, which already there inside our department already, and 1,000+ Oracle consultants. We are actually working under the roof of Evosys, and they are globally different distributed. So it's not only that everyone is at one of the single location, they are globally, we have in all different 30 countries. So we have been a winner of different sets of multiple excellence award. In this Oracle Open World also, we got the award for the cloud excellence partners for the implementation of different sets of cloud. HR cloud implementation partner we already get. Also the HCM module and the H1 partner award has been also awarded to the Evosys in this Oracle Open World. So as far as Evosys is concerned, apart from the global prospect, I would rather say that all the Oracle Cloud and all the Oracle Premier, whatever you can say about the products, we already have been there and our roots are there on each and every product itself. So we go through each and every product and we have actually worked with the each and every different sets of tools which is there on the Oracle side. Now let's get inside the analytics for banking. So what are the different sets of analytics that we can prepare in the banking itself? Normal traditional analysis, which look forward for a single prospect, which says that, okay, the transactions, how many transaction has happened, what is the biggest account for me, who is actually going down as an account itself, or a traditional data sets where we can say that, okay, I have one team who actually work on a SSIS or the SaaS product who is just giving me the ranking for each and every account, and I have another team who is actually just rectifying the different sets of risk from the market, and then they actually present you on a one single PowerPoint presentation and saying that, okay, I have a statistic from another system and I have one more team who is bringing the statistic from different system, and then finally a risk manager go inside that particular both of the presentation and find out the list of the accounts which he actually wants to display as a risk or as an account issue, or as an, you can say that this could be the NPA for us. So this was a traditional system where we have two different sets of team and they are presenting their own different solutions. Till now there are few products which try to get inside it, they try to go for the solution itself, but not a single I would say succeeded till now, until the Oracle has bring the solution called the early warning system. The Evosys was one of the biggest part while creating this early warning system solution, where you can have warnings for the loan borrowers, warnings for the different sets of presentations which we can say about the if a person is coming forward for the loan, and if he's there for a loan itself, then how you will manage that particular loan guys. So that is one of the most important part that we are looking forward, where we can combine your traditional database with the social media analytics, with the marketing analytics, and with the specific sources which actually is relevant and which actually are one of the biggest sources for you all. So first is early warning system, where we are talking about the early warning system example. Second is the social media analytics, where you can do the customer 360 cross sell and upsell opportunities with it. The third is the ATM analytics, where you have the ATMs for each and every bank and different sets of ATMs, which is localized on a different demographics and their performance of that particular ATM. We can also go for the ATM which are the independent and the ATM which are also there with the banks itself. And last but not least is called the branch performance analytics, where the branch performance analytics is, I would say, the combination of all of three. Apart from that combination, there would be so many things like customer satisfaction comparison. And then you can have branch comparison also, then the budgetary code that you might have to prepare for that particular branch. Everything would be there inside that particular application itself. So let's start with the early warning system first. As you can see on the screen, the data sources. So for the early warning system, let me give you a layman example. That's one of the biggest industry in the market is coming up and asking you for a loan. I mean, asking a bank for a loan itself. What that bank will do? Bank will try to profile that customer so that the customer can have, or a bank can have the idea about the customer regarding if he can complete that particular loan or not, or how he can handle that particular account itself. This is the first point where we talk about when a particular account is asking for a loan to the bank. The second prospect is when a particular account already have a loan inside of a bank and he is not performing well as far as the EMI is concerned, then how we can handle that particular account itself. Do we need specific, always we do need specific proof from the market, or we can say that from the application itself, where we can go forward for the solution and prospect of the solutions too. So when we talk about the early warning system, as you can see the sources, you have your traditional data warehouse or traditional database source, where you are, I mean, banks are always doing internal ranking from the transactions and from their own statistical system. The second would be the news websites, from a different sets of news websites where we can bring it in the different sets of news from multiple leverage systems. And the third is the CMS system, which is the content management system, which actually situated under the banks itself. So what we are trying to tell you here is, let's say you have done many KYC forms and the KYC forms has been submitted into either a Word document or a stored in the PDF files or a stored in any of the text file documents. Till now, in any of the analytics process, we cannot use that, or we can use it, but we had not tried to use it yet. The second portion is news. Now, as far as the news is concerned, what we have done is we have searched the news from the multiple websites of multiple specific news websites, and we just stopped, reading it. Or you can say a human effort will read that particular news, and he will give his own intervention on that particular news itself. What we had done on top of it, like we are integrating all of these three sources and we are creating an ontology on top of it. So the ontology would be nothing but a creating an environment which actually can give you the overview about the particular account itself. So ontology will be prepared from three different sources, I would say. The first source is your internal database, which has been different sets of SSIS or statistical analytics, which has happened from the bank side. The second thing which we can talk about is the news websites, where a multiple news websites will be scrapped, or you can say crawled by the by the tools which we already will implemented in the different solution. These particular news websites will be crawled for each and every news regarding to that particular, I would say that company, regarding to that particular sentences, and then they finally go through that. The tool will go through for each and every news, and it will ask for that particular categorization, how it will look like. And the third is the content management system. As we say, the one of the layman example is the KYC form. So you have the know your customer forms, which has been filled up to each and every account, and these accounts would be, I mean, these are the, until now these forms are just stored as a normal forms, while we now you can use it, or the PDFs that you can get from the governmental firm, where the different sets of PDF would be shared from anywhere else directly, and that we can go for the prospect itself. Now, what the ontology actually gives you. So let's talk about one of the industries. Let's talk about the steel industry. And when I'm talking about the steel industry, I need to have two different sets of things which should be working on it. So let's say one of the customer asks, or one of the account asks you for a loan, and he's asking for a loan, and he is a steel industry itself. Let me give you an example. Is an XYZ steel industry. Now this XYZ steel industry has two different sets of things, because first is all about the raw materials that he is using, or that particular industry is using, and the second thing is we talk about the downstream, which is nothing but the market where he actually sells his steel. So when we talk about here, what is the first prospect? Can this company will manufacture his steel properly? First question. Second question would be, is his market where he is popular enough? Can he sell all of his particular thing or all of his particular product to that market properly in this particular quarter or on this particular month? When you ask this question, what do you need to crawl from there? When we talk about that, the another slide that I'm actually displaying, this would be the categorization that we will put on a different sets of data set we have. As we said, there would be a governmental firms, governmental rule data sets also been there, where only a text and the PDFs would be stored. There could be n number of other data sets where you can have a multiple sessions which has been stored, and there could be the n number of news websites that you know a specific bank crawls for a, or you can say a specific bank will read to get more idea about different sets of the performance or the different sets of rule which has been allocated to that. So let's talk about a small example. As we say, is the XYZ steel. Now XYZ steel is now using for the raw material as coal, water, iron ore, or roin, and something like that. When you talk about that, if what happens if a government block the coal allocation on the same section or the same region where the manufacturing plant is there for that particular industry? As simple as that, it cannot manufacture the steel. If he cannot manufacture the steel, he cannot sell the steel and get the revenue from that. So simple as that, that would be a bigger news rather than a news as saying that from previous year's revenue of this particular company was 10% lower than the current year's revenue itself. So when we talk about that particular raw material, it is one of the biggest thing where we are talking about the issue of that particular analytics itself. So when we talk about, let's say, let's go for the different use case itself. So this is one of the easiest use case or a label use case that I actually applied on it. Let's talk about the another use case. Let's talk about the automobile industry. We talk about the Tesla. So Tesla is one of the biggest industry right now who is actually bringing up with the electrical cars. But in India, we don't have the electrical stations itself. So will Tesla get sold in India properly that he actually think about the revenue? The answer is no. So when can Tesla bring up Tesla cars inside India market, or you can say the Asian market itself? So for that prospect, the different sets of news has to get crawled, the different sets of condition we need to get analyzed, and then finally we can ask them, okay, so Tesla needs a loan to put his manufacturing plant in India. Is it a good decision for our bank to give a loan to Tesla or not? To analyze that, we have a different sets of solution which is coming from all the different data sources. It's a versatile sources. It's not a single source application right now. So we take the destination from the different sources, we pick it up, we categorize it, and then we complete that particular policies. So we categorize them in the different sets of first is the raw materials, level of integration. So what is the level of integration will Tesla required from the government of India also? The policies and external factors, how are the policies are defined in one of the nation, or what are the external factors that can be affected to that particular company itself? Financial indicators. Okay, so automobile industry is right now currently down in many of the Asian regions itself. So why should I give a loan to another automobile industry? Because its current situation is already they are going down. If I give that particular automobile industry again a loan and give them a manufacturing plant itself, it's a total foolish decision itself there. But to not to give that particular decision, or we just know that why we are actually are crawling that particular news from the news websites, or we get something specific from the different sets of applications there. So that's the reason why we can capture it out, and rather than having a human intervention, what we do is we capture that particular thing from the different sets of market, analyze the different sets of tools, analyze the different notepad files, analyze the PDFs, and then we go forward for the prospect itself. So this is the first part where we talk about that particular categorized ranking. So when we say that, okay, we bring different sets of application into one particular roof, what it will do for us. So these are the sample dashboards. So we crawl about the 15 industries, 97 companies, we get 5,000 odd news and we go for it for the average sentiment on top of it. What are the events we find out? The corruption. So, okay, so let's talk about a little bit more about that particular company or the industry itself. If the company or the industry, they are having a specific set of people around, let's talk about the CEO, CFO, they actually are involved in the corruption with that particular legal entities, then it is obviously going down for the particular market itself. So when we talk about the EWS system, we need to find out with the each and every prospect of the solution itself. So when we talk about the solutions itself, we go forward for the analytics, and for each and every bank, it is important to think about these all factors before giving loans to a different sets of customers itself. So all about that particular corruptions and the excessive, or you can say the events or the accidents or the appointments which has been happened in a market with one particular account would be one of the major factor for a bank to analyze one particular NPA or that particular account itself. So the situation, or you can say the status of the account, would be there and can be just participate by that particular application itself. So these are the different sets of industries and how they are actually working in right now conditions has been given by the bank. So bank can analyze this. So bank can analyze that, okay, FMCG is doing good right now in the market. So a company which is, actually the FMCG, bank can be really, label about that particular prospect, and they can give that particular, I would say that the loan or that particular account of that particular FMCG can be going to the good particular prospect itself. Apart from that, if the bank is there, bank can be there for that particular prospect to go ahead and talk about the different sets of customer about that particular portion. Now the last and portion is what you can get from the EWS environment: risk ranking for one particular account, all of the accounts itself. We can forecast the NPA, the non-profitable accounts for the banking itself, and the account listing. We can list the accounts directly, which could be the risk account for us. So these are the three main pillars that we can capture out from the EWS application. Now we go for the next, which is the social media analytics for us. Okay. So in the social media analytics, so when we talk about the social media analytics, we will talk about the different sets of solution for the social media analytics, where again we are actually capturing everything from the social media like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and we have the KYC forms as we already had displayed before. And then we cluster the mapping for the customers and consumers itself, and then we will go forward for the cross sell and upsell opportunities for them. What we can categorize or what we can capture from that particular application or particular sentences, we can get the entities, we can get the themes, we can get the different sets of solutions out, and we can cluster each and every account that we have. And as far as the customer itself, we can create the clusters for the application, we can create the cluster for the accounts, and we can create the cluster for the consumers itself. So what we can borrow from here, is nothing but a biggest thing which we say about the customer 360. Second is the customer profiling, and last but not the least, which is the social media neural network. So what customer 360 will bring to a bank? So one particular person or one particular account is already there who is actually, let's say I have a KYC form of mine itself. I'm a person who actually have a different sets of a prospect, where who am I working with? I am a IT professional, and I have one saving account in this particular bank, and I have already purchased the FD. I already have purchased the insurance from here. I already have purchased the term plan. Now what I can do is I can have a situated patterns from a multiple accounts which are similar to that. As Srikant already says that Oracle brings up the machine learning and machine clusterings inside. So from the Oracle Analytics Cloud, what we can prepare is, from the Oracle Analytics Cloud directly we can prepare the clusters and the cloud environment, where you can already do a pattern matching, we can do a customer profiling, and then finally we can create a customer or a consumer 360 all over, where we can talk about it, but the different analytics itself inside it. And then finally, when a new consumer or a new account has come across for a bank or account opening, the bank already knows, okay, he is a IT professional. How many more things I can directly offer him, which could actually attract him to create or to get the products from my bank itself, or to purchase the product from bank itself. So next prospect we talk about is the ATM analytics. So for the ATM analytics, yes, ATM, we have the financial data set, we have the recorded failures, we have the ATM footfall, and we have the ATM machine logs. So these are the different sets of log that we already have. And we talk about these logs, and we talk about these specific different sets of sources to get integrated. Now to integrate that, what is the tool that I already have? So one of the biggest tool, as Shrikant already explained, in the market right now is Oracle Integration Cloud. So from the Oracle Integration Cloud, I can integrate all the different sources that we have inside the bank's environment, bank's premises. We put it on the autonomous data warehouse cloud, which has fantastic capability of 10 times faster query. I can say that if you have a normal database, the query speed or the query application or the application to query one of the small pointer issue is 10 times lesser than the autonomous data warehouse right now. So autonomous data warehouse is one of the biggest, I would say, the invention or the innovative part into the data warehouse from Oracle in the current situation. The next portion is, when we are displaying all of these, where are we going to display it? We are going to display it on the Oracle Analytics Cloud, where the cloud platform gives us the proper solution, where you can have all the different sets of analytics on a prospect itself. So on the next base, I'm giving you a small example of the dashboards that we prepared from it. So as you can see right now on the screen, what we are actually trying to give you here is, what is your ATM transaction will give you as a revenue itself. How many total transaction has done, how many money has been withdrawal, how many things has been deposited, how much rupees has get deposited, what are the different sets of transaction, total number of transaction has happened. The next portion what we are talking about is nothing but a different sets of contribution. So what is a region wise contribution that I can see here on the revenue contribution portion, on a total transaction by city. So demographic of a particular ATM account that we can directly display you on the board. As you can see, the trend line for a different time period, you can select the time period and you can see that, okay, how many error. So in the trend line right now, what I'm displaying is the deposit versus withdrawal error. So we know that when we are in the ATM, when we put our our ATM card inside and we type down the specific PIN number and we are trying to do one transaction in it, what is the biggest issue has happened with the customer, where the customer satisfaction will come across. If your ATM machine works properly, customer will be properly satisfied with that. If the ATM machine doesn't work properly, the one of the biggest issue that we always face is about the errors. So what are the different sets of error can happen inside this particular solution, or you can say in the ATM itself? One of the biggest is deposit and withdrawal errors. Second is user error. Okay, user has typed the wrong PIN. So how many time it has happened that user has typed the wrong PIN and the error has occurred? And second, the last but not the least, is service is unavailable. We actually didn't put the specific amount of money inside that ATM so that we can complete the transaction. So the service was unavailable to the ATM that time. As you can see on a map, on a Google map, we can portray that particular portion which says that revenue by cities and the transaction by cities. Now what this demographic actually gives you, from this demographic representation, what you can actually gain from here is, so one of the biggest thing, tomorrow you actually thrive that, okay, there are around 120 ATMs in one particular region I have, or we can say one particular country I already have. Now, what about this 140 ATMs? How they're performing? So all the performance you got from the slides that we already have before. Now, next is, I want to open another ATM. Which location should I open it? So what we can do is we can just drill down to the particular location. We can check the revenue for each and every location. We can compare the revenue. We can rank the destination. We can rank the different sets of appointment itself, and we can rank the different sets of customer area itself. And once we rank everything, we can get inside and we can get through one of the easiest portion, says that most available or most valuable ranking region. If I have two ATMs and I have everything full, I have 50% of time my services are unavailable in these two regions ATM. Why? Because customer are more there for a same for my bank itself, and the transactions are on a high note. So when we talk about that, I directly get that from my map and say that, okay, now in this particular region, I might be requiring more. As you can see in the map right now, somewhere around Mumbai, it would be a bigger portion where you can see the green and also the transaction by the cities, as far as the maroon, or you can see the red color is on a big bulge. So a bubble graph can be put on a map, which can directly lead you to the final output about the ATM analytics prospect. So what we actually did in the ATM analytics till now. So what we did in the ATM analytics till now is we crawl the data from the financial data set to get the transaction numbers. We crawl the data and recorded the failures from the failures of ATM and the different sets. We get the ATM footfall, which says that, okay, how many different people or how many different sets of footfall can be there a day basis. And the last is the machine log of the ATM, which says that what type of error has occurred. Now combining all of these and put inside that particular Oracle integration cloud, what we do is we create the machine learning prospect on it, which has the hidden Markov model, or we can go for it for the normal predictive analytics model, or we can go for the normal market basket analysis model, which gives us that, okay, so I can forecast it that in month of April, I always need this much amount of cash. So if near to that particular quarter or near to that particular month, if I don't have that much amount of cash inside my ATM, I can directly predict that from the application. An application will alert me. The business and intelligence, the Oracle Analytics Cloud will send you an alert saying that your ATM is running low on cash for next month. So you might have to be prepared to put this much amount of transaction, this much amount of money in that particular ATM itself. And this is for a single ATM only. Now think about it, if you have 500 ATMs, or we can think about 11,000 ATM also, which is already there in your different sets of regions. And we give you the direct notification on your board saying that, yes, you will require this much amount of cash in this particular ATM for this particular time of period. It would be easier work, and it would be giving you the particular prospect forecast insight. So last but not the least, to combine everything, we talk about the branch performance analytics. So what is important for branch? Yes, retail performance. Does branch give the specific product properly to the customer? We talk about the insurance we have, we talk about the term plans we have, we talk about the fixed deposits we have, we talk about the recurring accounts that we have. But do we have all the branch, what is a specific branch is working around it? Second is financial performance. What are the accounts that number of accounts for a particular bank branch, number of loans that particular bank branch has given to different sets of customer yet? What is the status of it? And the last is the customer satisfaction. Is the customer satisfied with that particular branch itself, or he's still hazy about it? Because when we talk about the customer satisfaction, this would be the most important part, which says that if the bank is not performing or the bank's procedures are not liking to be proper, then customer won't open an account in particular branch itself. So everywhere, rather than putting that bank into a scrutiny, we can go for the each and every branches to get the account as a different sets of portion itself. So what we can have inside our branch performance analytics. So inside the branch performance analytics, we have a product-wise visibility of that particular branch. Empower the cluster, we have that particular thing where we can monitor the lead generations, we monitor the conversion of that particular lead, the conversion cycle of the leads itself. We're going forward for the issuatic prospects. The second portion would be to have the comprehensive view of the analytics to get the framework on the branch heads and analyze the staff and RMs effectively. Income versus non-income products. You have the relationship enhancement. You can go forward and you move forward for the, as we already had said, when we have the customer 360 model for whole branch performance analytics, if we do a social media analytics and go for the customer satisfaction as a combination of it, a customer 360 would be there with me. So I know that what should I do to improve the relationship with a particular account or a particular customer itself. The next we talk about the finance department who wanted to get an agile and data and time driven for the quick analysis itself. So all the type of analytics like CASA and ACNR patterns, like CASA movements, all the cash movements, visibility of that particular forecasting of a cash, everything would be there inside our a single roof, which we call as an analytics module roof itself. Now all of these modules and all of these things are required to have one of the easiest prospect, which we talk about is a single roof, which we talk about the Oracle Analytics Cloud. So all of these different sets of solution, Evosys has built and by using the Oracle Analytics Cloud platform, where we are using a different sets of autonomous data warehouse, integration cloud services, and last but not the least, we use the Oracle Analytics Cloud to create an analytic module analytic application on site. Now, just before the questions and answer the session, I'll just bring up what the Evosys give you as an add-on itself. So we have more than, as we already had discussed, we have more than I would say more than 500 BFSI experts, where more than 100 there's been 100 experts who actually had worked before in the bank branches itself. The next is the analytics. Yes, we have more than 1,000, and we have a team of more than 250 analytics experts, and we have done more than 1,000 implementation in all over the globe for the analytics itself. So many analytics which is related to the finance, and the finance bring up to the particular prospect and the roof of Oracle Analytics Cloud. 50 plus cloud implementation of Oracle Analytics itself, which is cloud itself, which has already been conveyed and already been succeeded by the Evosys team. Now we can jump to the question answer phase. Let's see. Okay, guys, any queries as of now or any specific questions you want to ask?
So if you don't, I mean, like while you're thinking of questions, we encourage you to start using cloud trials, Oracle Cloud Trials. It is available for you free of cost for a month. And recently, last week, Oracle also has announced always free database, which is you can use it as long as you want. We encourage you to get your data, put it in there, and start, understanding your data better. We can help you if you need any assistance in that matter, like putting the data on the cloud and trying to analyze your data. You can bring in smaller problems or small data sets like ATM analytics, or some people have done expense analytics. So you can target smaller problems, get your data set, and put it on the cloud. And machine learning is also auto ML. Now there is a feature that can give you immediate insights on what is averages or what are the outliers. Those are the sort of things you can immediately pick up. So we encourage you to sign up for trials and start using it while we are waiting for questions.
We will be sending you all the deck that we shared today. So feel free to reach out to the Oracle team as well as Evosys team for further details regarding the solutions that were offered today. We thank you once again for joining this session. We hope it was useful, and we look forward to your queries and requirements. We're always available to address the same. Thanks a lot to Shrikant as well as Bhumin from Evosys for this very valuable session. If we do not have any questions right now, we will be closing this session. And yeah, we will share all the details for the reps, the sales reps from Oracle, so you can get in touch with them for your individual queries and requirements. Thanks a lot, everyone.
Just before closing up, I just want to show a small, a dashboard screen. So as you can see on the screen right now, it's the actual Oracle Analytics Cloud where we had prepared the demonstration itself. So you can see through the different sets of live demo that we already we are actually presenting to you, just to give you an example and just to give you a more easier point.
Thanks a lot, Bhavin. Thanks. Great. On that note, we thank everyone, and we look forward to individually reaching out and catering to your requirements. Thanks a lot for joining. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you. Thank you all. Hmm.
It's between 9:30 and then